Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Pollock-Newsome and I'm your host. We are coming to you this week through segments we shot at the Michigan Great Lakes International, the Draft Horse Show at Michigan State University. Folks, it's going to be a great show and you're going to learn a lot, so stay tuned. Folks, the show this morning, I think you're really going to enjoy it. We had the opportunity to be out there at the Michigan Great Lakes International Draft Horse event. You're going to learn about equipment. You're also going to learn about mules. We're going to talk a little bit about the event, and we're going to talk with some of those folks who actually run some of those hitches, how those work, and you're going to learn about all the different places they go and all the visits and the importance of the industry to our state. Folks, it's going to be a great show. Make sure you stay tuned. And welcome back. We are back at MGLI, and we are here with Gary Miller. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to have you start and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Gary Miller. This is the third hitch I've been with. This is the second year that I've been with Shining Stars, and I grew up Amish, so I worked on the Amish farm my whole life, and that's how I learned to drive and train horses. And so that kind of sparked my interest in showing horses, and that's how I kind of got started. So.
Well, and looking at this, we can tell we have one of them behind here. Looks like he's getting kind of all covered up in.
Yeah, we're just prepping him for show right now. So show is 2 hours away. So we're going through and doing some prepping, and then they get relaxed for a little bit, and then we'll get them out and put all the harness and everything on them, and get them hitched for tonight.
Well, and when you do something like that, how long does it take? Are you looking at, what kind of hitch, and how long does it take to get ready?
For the 6-horse hitch that we have at 5 o'clock will take us about an hour and a half to from start to finish to get them harnessed and hooked on the wagon. So.
Wow, a lot of work.
Very, very much, yeah, a lot of work. So.
Well, and when you're looking at that, I mean, we've taped some of them, the hitches and stuff. How long does it take to kind of get ready to be able to learn some of how all that works? Because that's a lot of work to pull that together.
It's a lot of work, and it takes a long time to really get a system down. A lot of times, a lot of these young drivers that come up have worked for other hitches and kind of learned the ropes and climb up the ladder that way. And so a lot of times it's not something you're going to be very good at right out of the clear blue. So it's something that takes a long time to learn.
Well, and it seems like you said, you're working with Shining Stars, so there's opportunities to kind of go through and travel with the hitches.
Yeah, there is. We do like 10 shows a year, and all the way from Denver, Colorado to Oklahoma to Lansing here, and pretty much anywhere in between. But we always enjoy Lansing. It's usually our finale. This year, the Classic Series finals are in Denver, Colorado in January at Denver Stock Show. So we opted to keep the horses in and fit. Usually this is our last show of the season. We pull the shoes and just let them be horses over winter. But this year we're going to Denver, so we'll keep them fit, and in a couple weeks we'll be going to Toronto, Canada, and that's the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto, and then January to Denver.
Well, and where do you guys start from? Where's home base?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
So yeah, we all the farms in Des Moines.
Well, and the farm, we mentioned Shining Stars. Is that, do you have, mares and all that, and do you breeding there?
All
or
geldings.
The hitch? Okay.
Everything's geldings, and so that no breeding.
Okay.
Just buy geldings and for the hitch. So.
Awesome. And what different do you have? Like if you have a 6-horse or a 4-horse, do you use the same? Do you have different horses that go together?
Most of the time in the smaller classes, we use more spare stuff, young stuff that we're trying to work into the main 6, and try to keep your starting lineup for most of the time we try to keep them fresh just for the 6. The 6 in this industry means everything. So we try to keep the main 6 starters fresh for the 6. So a lot of times we'll hook the spares for the smaller classes.
Well, and when you look at the 6, I mean, do you have 6 and that's the same 6 year after year, or are you always rotating?
Always rotating, because these guys, there's just no guarantee from one show to the next. They're no different than we are. They, from day to day, they just, you can tell if they're feeling up to it or not, or maybe they're sore somewhere or whatever. So you're continuously switching and trying to make it the best you can.
Well, and I would think that would be challenging too, looking at having those right matches, so you have the horses that will look together and
that's
stride together.
Very important is uniformity front to back in a 6-horse hitch, and so yeah, that's a very important point.
Well, and how's your guys' season going so far?
Very good, very good. We've won our national show. This is the 2nd year in a row. I started it last year. We won it last year and this year. So
congratulations!
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we've had phenomenal 2 years since I've been at Shining Stars. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Folks, certainly we know how important the ag industry is. The draft horse industry is certainly one of those shining stars that we have, and lots of folks out there behind the scenes traveling with the hitches and making them work. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And folks, here we are with Dan Shanahan of Shanahan Harness Shop. Dan, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Well, thank you. We're excited about it.
Well, and I had to stop by. You guys have a long history when we look at companies with that horse industry. Tell us a little bit about that history.
My parents started 45 years ago. Dad was a tool and die maker. He was always into draft horses. Our family's been surrounded by draft horses our whole life. So he's seen a need there for high-end, high-quality leather draft horse show harness. So we have built from that, and we've just really been thrilled to be a part of the whole draft horse industry here for 45 years now.
Well, and it's so neat that you guys are a family operation, because when you get to these events, it is so family, generation after generation.
Definitely, definitely. And you could see, like, a lot of the people we know, you know, Dad's worked with people for years, and now I'm working with their sons and daughters, and so now my kids grow up with their kids, and it's just really, it's cliche, but it is a big family. So.
Well, and you guys have done a great job, and it's always hard to say yourself, but you know, as you walk around and you talk about quality equipment, quality pieces, people said, Shanahan, you got to talk to Dan. So, so here I am.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
So as we look at this, let's talk a little bit about what we have here, and kind of, because if you're not used to it, there's a lot of different equipment.
There's a lot of different equipment. There's a lot of different ranges. There's different materials made. There is still a great need for people really like all leather show harness, or all leather harness in general, but there are synthetics now available, which has really opened it up for people starting and getting into the business. You can go the synthetic route, and so there's a lot of different options, more so than when Dad started. When Dad started, it was really about leather, and so now there is more options and whatnot. But this is typical, kind of a draft horse show bridle, and this is really kind of our goal, is just really something very pretty, something very comfortable, and comfort always comes first, of course, when you're talking with horses, but we're able to add beauty to it and then longevity. You know, this bridle here could be used for the next 30, 40 years.
Well, and what do you have to know about that when you're looking at something you're going to use that long? What do you have to do as far as care, or is it pretty easy?
It's very easy, and leather harness, you know, really you just want to get the sweat off of it. There's a lot of salt in the sweat and the saliva of the horse, so you really want to get that off. And other than that, just a little bit of oil, you know, once or twice a year, and it'll last a long, long time.
Well, and when you're looking at equipment like this, I mean, I know there's halter classes, there's different kinds of hitches. Is it the same thing for all of them, or do each classes, are you kind of dressing them a little different?
We're dressing them a little different. We're dressing each hitch a little different. When the people are showing mares, we try to refine the harness a little more. As your bigger geldings, you know, you can get away with it. You want a little more bulk, a little more bling almost on there. But the mares, we try to lighten everything up. And then the halter classes is really open. The halter classes, you almost want as little on them as possible to show off more of the horse. You know, the halter classes, you really want to just show off the horse. So the less leather on them, the less material on them, the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I know behind you we have some different pieces here. Let's talk a little bit about kind of what these are and then what is their purpose.
Well, this is basically, we'll start over here, but this is a draft horse show collar. So this is where it begins and ends. So the fitting of this is very important. You can see we have a lot of width here to go over their eyes, so that's very important. This collar itself is actually stuffed with straw. And that is one improvement that they cannot improve upon. There's no better thing to put in a horse collar than straw. So that is actually rye straw in there.
And looking at the straw, because why is straw the best, I guess?
Because you can pack it very hard. You can feel how hard this is. You can pack it hard, and then, but it will give to the horse. And as the horse wears it, warms it up, and then his body temperature will actually mold the collar to his body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for a harness and you get that collar for that horse, that's really that horse's collar.
It really is. There's a little bit of leeway there, but you know, we really try to, and the owners and trainers really try to keep that collar for that horse, and usually for the rest of their life. You know. Yep.
Well, and when we're looking too, I mean, I know there's a lot of pretty and bling, I guess, as we would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are all chrome plated. We do have brass ones as well. The brass ones you're going to get into a lot more cleaning, and because it really tarnishes and your fingerprints get on it. Chrome is very easy. It's easy to clean, easy to care for, always looks nice. And then 99% of our harnesses are black. We have done a couple that have been russet, but most of them are black. So that's really a standard. Yeah.
Well, and certainly for show too, I think that gives you some of the flexibility and really helps set off, because those animals really are gorgeous.
They really are. In the harness, we try to not to cover the animal as much as just to try to enhance their beauty. And then the other thing now that's different from when Dad started, the horses are more athletic than they've ever been. The horses are just their talent and everything else. So we really try the harness just to accentuate that. The horses carry their heads higher than they used to. They lift their feet higher than they used to. So we really try to make the harness help them do that.
Well, and this may be a silly question, but you know, we talk about kind of getting the collar fit to the horse. Is it like one size fits all, or does each horse start with a different size?
Each horse starts with a different size, and really there's only, for draft horses, there's about 3 different sizes that we use. So it's really, you do have some flexibility, because if the harness will probably be around 30, 40, 50 years. So it will be able to use it on several different horses.
Well, and certainly, Dan, we appreciate this and appreciate all that you've done here, and we're going to do some more interviews and stuff for the show, and we'll actually, I'm sure, see some of your harnesses at work.
I hope so. Check it out. It was great talking to you.
Great. Folks, certainly we know how important the agriculture industry is, but I don't think we always think about all those other industries that are out there that are helping and supporting to make sure events like this are just as beautiful as they can be. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Welcome back to MGLI, and here we are with Doc Hunt. It's great to have you on the show.
And it's wonderful to be here to talk about the mule.
Well, we're going to have you talk about you, too.
Well, we'll talk about myself, maybe a little myself first, but I bought my first mule when I was 13 years old. Although we had mules, I wanted my own mule. And we kept her in the family until she was 45 years old. I was long past practicing medicine when she went out of the family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about 20 years. I practiced medicine about 20 years when she went out of the family. So that's enough about me. Now we'll talk about the mules, and I've been with them all of my life. I've born with them, was kicked by one when I was 2 years old, and it wasn't enough for me. I had to go back for more. So I must have been a mule lover at that time, and have been a mule enthusiast ever since, and been with them, of course, my entire life. But my first showing came in 1985 at Michigan State Fair, and I started from there and spread to other county fairs and so on, and spent a number of years in Florida, did the Florida Bowl Parade several times, and Orange Bowl Parade, and the Thanksgiving Day Parade in Detroit for many years with 8 mule hitch.
Wow.
And I'm still keeping an 8 mule hitch, and I still have 12 mules at this time, but I do drive 8 on a regular basis. And anything beyond that was just simply in my blood. And I do plan to go to the cemetery behind 8 mules. I've got people trained to take me there when I go. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, though.
You're only as old as you think you are. So see, you're out there. We saw you in the ring. You are masterful.
Well, I get after them in the ring. I talk to them. My wagon weighs 3,600 pounds, and it's really built for 8 mules to pull, and they handle it nicely. But 2 and 4s and 3, so quite a load for them to pull in the soft ring. So they don't show up as well as you'd like them to, but anyway, we get by. We get by with the shows, and this is my nicer wagon, too, I have. Yeah.
It's a great looking rig. And when we talk about mules, for folks that don't know, how do you get a mule?
Okay, let me tell you how you get a mule. First thing, you got to have a mare. And these mules, mother are the Belgian mares, and you cross that Belgian mare with a jack. And a jack is the male counterpart of the Jack and Jenny species, and the jack has 62 chromosomes, and the mare has 64, and the mule has 63, and they cannot reproduce. Uneven numbers, and the chromosomes cannot reproduce. And there's been fiction, I think, of a couple of, they claim it did, but I wasn't convinced. So knowing what I know about medicine, studying genetics and on in medicine, why I'm not a bit convinced. And the 2 that they claim it were mules that gave birth to foals had ears mighty short, like a horse. So I couldn't give any credence to that either.
Well,
so I'm still convinced a mule is sterile.
There you go.
All the way, yeah.
Well, and you have, in walking through the barn, I mean, you have gorgeous, when we look at the animals, absolutely gorgeous hitches.
Well, I work at it. I do work at it and want to do a nice job for the people and well as for myself. I always strive for excellence.
Well, and you do a great job, and showing the mules is definitely different than the horses. I saw,
yes,
when you were in ring, you actually kind of move them all out sideways.
Yeah, it's a lot of people come here just to see them turn. To see them turn, yeah.
And would that be like back in history of like how you would?
That's the way you separate in the classes. A mule has to perform, has to do performance, and you separate the animals in that direction. They don't care how nice looking they are, how they look, and how finely dressed they are. If they can't perform, they're not mules, see? And the best mules perform. It doesn't hurt to have them dressed a little nice, but
Yeah.
you want to be able to perform too, see? So I strive for excellence on that, see? And you can beat me, but I'll come after you. I'll come right after you.
One thing I noticed too, though, that, like as you say that, as you swung them and that, just so calm, so laid back.
Well, I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them. They listen to me too. This is the first hitch out, And really, we had a lot of farm work to do at home, and I still run the office and practice and hospital practice.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get to drive a couple of times. I would have if I could have, and kind of tuned them up a little more. But I'll get tuned up. I'll get them tuned up. Yeah.
Well, they look
Another driver too.
They look absolutely gorgeous. And when you go out and do this, so you travel all over as much as you can?
I've been a lot of places, and I want to go a lot more. Still not through yet. I'm maybe going to get retired one of these days where I can go all the time if I want to. Yeah. That's my plan. Yeah. I've been in medicine 50 years.
Wow.
50 years.
Wow.
So it's getting time for me to get out. Let somebody else do it, and I can drive more mules.
There you go.
Spend my life, the rest of my life, doing the things I like to do. Now, I feed them every morning at 4 o'clock. It's just a regular. I'm up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock every morning, take care of the mules first, come in, have breakfast, get dressed, and go to the hospital. Wow. Now I go to the hospital. Most of the time I go to at least one nursing home, sometimes two, because I got people that move from the hospital into the nursing home. And back home, 8 o'clock in the office, and most of the time, 5 o'clock. Get home, 5 o'clock. Go back and feed the mules again. But in the summertime, we got some longer time, and I get working hay and that kind of thing, too. Sometimes I turn hay on my dinner time, too.
There's a lot to do to keep that going, isn't there?
I take my dinner break and turn hay and eat my lunch on the tractor. Yeah.
Well, and I have to say, you have a great team. This one here is pretty friendly. I think I have a friend.
They'll just let you love her all you want to. They'll help you if you want to, yeah.
Well, and I think that's so good, too, because so many times we hear that, like, mules, they're just a little more stubborn, they're a little harder to work with, and these guys, every time I've seen you with them and been with them, they're just so sweet.
They're not stubborn, no. That's a misnomer, a misunderstanding, and really, it's a sixth sense to understand the mule. You got to understand them. Until I talk to them. It's a picture in my office made in Freedom Hall here last year that they made and sent to me that came into Freedom Hall. Late mule hitch. The din was so loud you couldn't hear your ears, but I was talking to these mules, and every one of them had one ear on my voice and one ear in the other way. Just a picture there to show it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I couldn't believe it. I looked at all those ears. Every ear was one ear on my voice. With all that crowd going on, they could hear my voice. See? Well, they did a wonderful job there, too.
Well, and I think that just shows, too. I mean, you're not just getting out with them once. It's that contact, and they know who to listen to and who to pay attention to, and that's why they perform so well.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. People wonder why they do. Well, that's the way they do, because I'm talking to them.
That's right.
And they hear me. They're used to me talking to them, yeah.
Well, thank you. Doc, we appreciate it so much.
You're just welcome you can be.
Well, I appreciate it. It was good to see. I see you here every year, and I always like to get out there and watch you when you're putting on the show. So another great job. Thank you.
I'll tell you also that I like to present the mule. I like to help to spread the word and bring in more people. But most people that I've helped weren't really true mule people. They don't stay with them, see. They don't have the love. I've got the love for the mule, see. Not me. I've got 5 brothers. None of them have the love for the mule. None of them. They would come help you a little bit as far as owning one or driving one or caring for one. I get just as much fun out of feeding them as I do anything else, and talking to them every morning. Come and go in your stall, get in your stall. Come on, get in your stall. They'll come right on in. Get them fed, see.
And you can tell when you have that bond and they're used to you and you stay calm with them. Ready? So I'm going to go back and do the close again? Yeah. Okay. I just have to do the closing because the battery ran out. So I'll just say, Doc, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we can tell you have that great bond with the mules, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, and I'm always willing to mule. Always willing to toot their horn.
We appreciate it. They deserve it. Folks, certainly more opportunities to learn more about the mule industry, both here in Michigan and across the U.S. And I know I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to be in the ring, and I'm going to be watching Doc compete the rest of the weekend.
My cell phone number is 734-625-6778. If you need to talk about a mule or need some information about the mule, I'll be glad to help you.
We will sign you up. Folks, stay tuned. I'll be back right after this message.
This chicken is beak over claw for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one chicken may not be too much to cluck about, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing, our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And here we are back at MGLI, and we are here with Ed Perkins. Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
It's good to have you here. I'm going to have you start and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been showing draft horses about 15 to 18 years, and we come from about 35 miles west of Boston, Stowe, Massachusetts, and I own a construction company out there, and between that and our farm, we show these Belgian draft horses in and around New England and New York and Pennsylvania, and we heard about this show a few years ago, and we've come out the last 3 years and loved it. Wonderful place to come. People treat you real nice, and there's a lot of competition. It's very good, and we have a great time.
Great. Well, that's one thing I think, us being local, we don't always think of folks traveling this far for a horse show.
Yeah, there's not as many in New England as the Midwest out here. And the competition's excellent. So we enjoy coming out here and appreciate having us.
Well, and when you get started into something like this, it's a lot to have the horses, the trailer, and really to hit the road.
Yes, as I said, we have a construction company, and so we have the truck to pull the trailer, and then we have a trailer that holds 9 horses and a wagon and all our harnesses and cart and everything, and then we follow along with another little pickup truck with our camper so that we all can sleep. We have a crew of 5 people, including myself, that come and show the horses, and it takes that many to keep changing from one class to the other and so forth, and harnesses and cleaning tack and so forth, so we stay busy.
Well, it sounds like it. And what different things would you do with the horses that you bring? What different classes?
We show a 6-horse hitch and a 4-horse hitch and a unicorn, which is 3 horses, a team and single cart classes. And we're judged on how they go and how they're presented and the style of the horses and their conformation and how they look and how they go, basically.
Well, and when you look at this, certainly lots of training goes in, not just at the event, but a lot of pre-work before you actually hit the circuit.
Yes, the horses are exercised at least 5 days a week. Every day they're hitched and driven for anywhere from a half to an hour every single day, and gets them in shape and gets them working how we want them to and everything. And then at the end of the season, we pull their shoes and let them be horses, and as we say, and put them out for the winter and let them relax and so forth. Then we start again the following April.
Well, it's kind of nice for you two probably to have a little break after being on the road.
It certainly is. It certainly is. It is. It's nice to have a break, that's for sure.
Well, and Ed, what would you say to folks who are looking at it, maybe aren't in the business? It seems a little overwhelming to get started, but everybody we've talked to just is so excited and so positive about the industry.
Yeah, the people you meet are just fantastic. I just think back, my wife and I, how many people we've met in the 15 years we've done this, and just great people from all over the country, and we would have never met them. And it's a lot of work, and it's expensive, but hey, I don't play golf or some of those other expensive hobbies, so we do this, so it keeps us busy and it works in well with the farm.
Well, and looking to the future, what are some of the things you see for the future and opportunities?
Well, it's a growing thing. It seems to grow. It's off a little bit to the economy, but it's a growing thing that's more and more popular. The demand for the horses is greater and greater, and we need more breeders to breed more of them so we can get good horses.
Great. Well, Ed, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It was nice to be here. Thank you.
Folks, so many opportunities. If you've not got out here, get out here to Michigan Great Lakes International. A great place to meet the folks, to see the beautiful animals, and to get out the show ring and see the hitches. You have a great week.